Hi, it's Kevin May, the Editor-in-Chief of PhocusWire, in the PhocusWire studio with Sara Wyman. You're the Vice President of Retail and Travel at Affirm, so thank you for joining us here.
Yes, thank you.
See, I find what this company does very interesting because over here, the concept of what you do is kind of, oh wow, that's really interesting. And whereas the concept in Europe is quite an old one. Why do you think there are those kind of regional or global differences between this kind of part payment idea?
Yeah, I think it really comes with what we all kind of grew up on. And so credit cards have been really the main kind of payment tool here used in the United States. And we are aggressively trying to bring in this installment type of product into the market. Obviously, as you mentioned, it's popular in Europe, it's popular in Brazil. And so it's gonna take us a little bit of time to get the US population comfortable with that. And so that's why I think it's been important for us to really build our merchant base so that we can get more and more exposure to this new product. So we have 1,500 merchants that we work with today. And with that, we get more and more eyeballs on this new kind of payment method, and we're seeing really great conversion because of it.
How as it is, a new idea or a new concept, how have the kind of conversations gone when you've been talking to travel partners, whether it's airlines or hotels or OTAs, about, okay, so we want to allow the customers to pay over time? Are they suddenly, well, that's crazy, we can't do that?
No, I think they actually get it. To your point, they've seen it before, they've seen it in the past, and they're very comfortable with that. Typically what we hear from merchants is, we're really excited about this, I just got to get it on my roadmap. So typically that's what we're waiting for is that spot, and to be able to help them grow their business. Okay,
so how does it work for a firm financially? So you're essentially, just talk to me very briefly a bit about the banking mechanism of it all. I mean, you're paying in part for customers who want, you're paying in a different type of way than the merchant model normally works. So how does it work for you as an organization?
Yeah, so essentially will be a payment method right on the website, right next to credit cards or other forms of payment. The customer will pick a firm, and we will, just like with the credit card, send those funds to the merchant, and we'll settle in 1 to 2 days. So they're all set, right? They're all happy. And then the customer will begin paying us back in 30 days, and they can pick to pay that back over 3, 6, and 12 months. We charge the customer simple interest, so no compound interest, no late fees. We charge an APR, we quote an APR, it's 10 to 30%, but from a simple interest perspective, it's only 2 to 16% on average, so much lower than what you're gonna see with a credit card. And then on the economic side, we also charge a performance fee that's fairly comparable to a payment processing fee. So we earn revenue from those two lines.
Okay. So where it's gotten interesting is the new thing that you're doing, which you announced this week, I believe.
We did, yes.
So it's the introduction of being able to top up your existing product with some ancillaries.
That's right.
How does that work at the supplier end?
Yeah. The great news is there's not much else that the supplier needs to do. So essentially the customer will go through our normal flow. We'll pre-qualify them essentially for a budget that we feel is really responsible, that we know that they're going to be able to responsibly pay down. And so we'll show them that budget up front, and they'll initiate their first purchase. When we speak to OTAs, many times that's the flight that the customer begins with, right? So they buy the flight, and then let's say they leave to go do more research. Well, what's great is that now we will then send an email to that customer telling them, hey, you have a budget left over to use specifically at this merchant. Come back, get the hotel, get the rental car, and don't go anywhere else. So that merchant is able to keep that customer through the entire booking journey and doesn't lose them to other sites.
And you say the suppliers are quite happy with that kind of staggered selection of bundled products?
Well, it's better than losing the customer entirely,
to be
right?
Fair, you're absolutely
so what we'll try to do is higher up in the booking journey, get them to add in the trip insurance, to add in the upgraded seats much earlier on when they're on their first purchase, of course. But if we lose them, we'll retarget them back.
Yeah, quite. So there is a day limitation on this part of it, the ancillary.
We do. So right now the limitation is set for 20 days.
20 days,
We do that to create urgency because we want to give the customer enough time to complete their entire trip. Now, if a merchant comes to us and says, I think my booking window is only a week for my customer, we'll shorten it to a week. We can make it a few days. It's really adjustable.
Okay. And how do you see that you kind of shaking out over time then almost? Because the introduction is interesting.
Yeah.
You say it's really easy for suppliers.
Yep.
Presumably customers are going to love it. They think it's the best thing they've ever seen. So what's next? I mean, what other kind of features around part paymenting or can you add to make it even better?
Yeah, I think on both sides, I think from the merchant, what we're hearing is, okay, you're helping us a lot with conversion lift. You're helping us a lot with increasing our total booking values. What we really need help with now is traffic. That's all we hear about, right? So what we're really going to be focusing on in the next year is driving incremental new users to these travel suppliers' points of sales.
Okay, right. Sara Wyman, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.